Eaglets no longer visible in the nest.
Joining us live is Sandy Steers. She's the executive director of Friends of Big Bear Valley. Sandy, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, during that first feeding we know this morning, we only saw 2 of the eaglets. So what do we know so far?
Well, we don't know anything yet, and we can't confirm anything because the snow is so high on the nest. There's a big portion of the nest that is out of the camera view. So we don't know what's over there or exactly what the situation is. We have to wait and see.
And you know, so we've noticed, we can see that, and this is from earlier, you see the 2 eaglets there, and Jackie and Shadow, I don't know, at times it looks like they're looking at them or looking around them. Does their behavior tell you anything at all?
No, they're always checking what the whole situation is. So that's no different than any time before. We don't know exactly what's happening. And we just have to watch and observe nature and know that it knows what it's doing. And Jackie and Shadow know how to handle whatever the situation is. And we just have to listen, and we just have to know that everything will work out the way it's meant to.
And Sandy, I'm sure you've heard this, that people have become really invested. We watch the eggs and we watch them hatch, and we've been kind of following that every day. Are there reasons, what are the reasons maybe that an eaglet wouldn't survive in the wild?
It could, if it got too wet or something like that, or too cold, then that could be one reason. And we just don't know until we see what the whole situation is by seeing the whole nest, and there may be a time that we just don't know what happened, but we have to go with, just like Jackie and Shadow do, we have to go with what's in the moment and keep moving forward.
Well, Sandy, people so enjoy looking at these pictures from your camera that the Friends of Big Bear Valley have up there. And people may wonder, what is Friends of Big Bear Valley? What is Friends of Big Bear Valley? And then how can we support you guys?
Friends of Big Bear Valley is an educational environmental nonprofit, and we work on educating everyone about and protecting the special species and habitats in Big Bear Valley. We have things up here that don't exist anywhere else in the world, and we want to maintain them. And so we work in all directions, advocacy and everything, on maintaining that. And they can, anyone, we would love people to support us. It's because we're all donation-based, and it's friendsofbigbearvalley.org. And thank you for asking that. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Sandy. We appreciate you being with us this morning. And if you get any updates on that 3rd eaglet, let us know.
We will. Thank you very much.
Right.
Blamed for some unfortunate news.
And one of 3 eaglets we've all been keeping a really close eye on is noticeably missing from the nest. And KCAL's Rachel Kim is here to help us get to the bottom of the mystery, Rachel. We're all hoping for good news.
Me too, Amy. I think it's safe to say people from all around the world are waiting for this mystery to be solved. The 3 viral baby bald eagles that we welcomed last week now appear to be just 2, and a lot of eyes glued to the 24/7 live stream from Big Bear, hoping to see any sign of eaglet number 3.
6:15 p.m. Thursday. It was feeding time, and the last time all 3 eaglets in the Big Bear nest of Jackie and Shadow were seen together on camera. Questions and concerns started among avid eagle watchers when they noticed this morning that Mom Jackie was feeding only 2 of the 3 chicks.
We don't have an explanation. There is a big part of the nest bowl itself, the open, that is right now out of the camera view because of the pile of snow. It's like it's blocking the camera. So we don't know what's happening in that part of the nest bowl, so we cannot confirm anything.
Sandy Spears, Friends of Big Bear Valley Executive Director, says they're taking a watch-and-see approach when it comes to the youngest eaglet. On Thursday, you can see Jackie was protecting the 3 chicks through much of the snowstorm.
We don't know when the snow will get low enough that we can see what's behind the curtain there.
The possibilities of it being alive are probably pretty slim. The camera's got a pretty decent view into the nest, so I don't think it would be hidden. And if it's not bunched up with the other 2 chicks to keep warm, then it's most likely not there.
Peter Sharp is a wildlife biologist with the Institute for Wildlife Studies.
Maybe it was a little wet. The freezing temperatures just sort of stuck it to the feathers, and it got carried off by one of the adults, unfortunately. I know that's happened with other birds, other eagle nests, where the adult actually flew off with the chick attached to it, and unfortunately didn't come back with the adult.
Sharp also says it's normal for a third younger eaglet not to survive.
Sometimes they do starve to death. Sometimes they're the sibling rivalry between the older ones in it, so they like to bonk at each other to get a literal pecking order going, so that the winner is usually the one that gets fed first, second line gets second, and the last one gets whatever left over.
I am looking for miracles and, beautiful results, but we just have to take it the way it comes. Nature can sometimes be hard to watch, and we have to know that that's what it is, and know there's always a reason. There's always some lesson. There's always something for us to see in it.
Now, Sharp does not believe the frigid weather would be the reason an eaglet doesn't survive, since they are covered by mom and dad at this stage. Now, the cold temps could become a factor in a few weeks when they're bigger and are not covered, because the chicks don't have their waterproof feathers at that point. So, as they say, guys, nature can be beautiful, but it also can be very cruel. But I don't know about you, I'm keeping hope alive.
I am too. So sad, though. Our hope. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. All right.
To some bad news. One of Jackie and Shadow's 3 eaglets is noticeably missing from the nest. And we've been keeping an eye on the nest all day, and KCAL's Gio Insignares joins us now in studio with more on the concern for that third chick and what could possibly have happened, Gio.
Well, Pat, it's certainly been a topic of conversation for a lot of people, including here in this newsroom. We do know all those hours later, well, there's still no sight of eaglet number 3. It's unclear which of the 3 birds is exactly missing, but unfortunately, experts say the chances of it being alive are slim. It's a gripping life or death drama captivating tens of thousands of people across SoCal tonight. All eyes on the 24/7 live stream from Big Bear, hoping for an official update on Jackie, Shadow, and their eaglets. The mystery revolving around what happened to one of the chicks after viewers noticed this morning that Mom Jackie was feeding only 2 of the 3. And the concern has been building since the last time all 3 eaglets were seen in their nest feeding around 6:15 p.m. Thursday.
When we saw them, they were all eating, and so we don't know, what the situation is at the current moment.
This view around 5:30 this evening shows 2 eaglets being fed before the parent sits to keep them warm. According to experts like wildlife biologist Peter Sharp, the possibilities of the missing eaglet being alive are slim.
That's what we have to expect when we put live cameras on wild animals.
Sharp added that it's normal for a third younger eaglet not to survive. In this case, he says one possibility is the wet weather and freezing temperatures led to the eaglet being stuck to one of the adult's feathers when it flew off and ended up not coming back. Other examples include starvation or a sibling rivalry between the older chicks where they establish a literal pecking order.
Sometimes it just gets buried in the grasses, but this nest doesn't have a lot of grass usually. So sometimes they'll move it out, and sometimes they'll actually just view it as food and eat on it or feed it to the other chicks.
Moving forward, the focus shifts toward the eaglet's growth and how they deal with the weather, like rain in the day and freezing temperatures at night.
The chicks don't have their waterproof feathers yet, and they can't get under the adult, so they get wet and then get really cold at night.
It's a struggle grabbing the attention not just of experts, but of many people locked into the latest developments.
We've been pretty invested, so we were quite shocked that
I was just like,
one was missing.
Yeah, I was hoping it didn't fall out of the nest.
Well, Sharp does not believe the frigid weather would be the reason an eaglet doesn't survive. That's because at this stage, they're covered by mom and dad. In a few weeks, though, that's when the cold temps could become a factor. In the meantime, this latest drama emphasizing that sometimes harsh nature of reality. And let's give you that live look out of the camera right now. You see one of the parents still sitting over top of the eaglets. That's been the sight we've seen here the last few hours. We'll continue to monitor it moving forward. Pat, I'll send it back to you.
They sure do take care of their young. All right. Thank you, Gio.